All right, all right, all right. We are back again. It is Friday. Friday. Hello, Kick. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. Oh. You sound like you're doing just fantastic. Peachy Keen. I couldn't sleep again last night, Niche. I mean, I did sleep, but I didn't fall asleep till like 1 a.m. and then I was up at 6 for work. So I was fine most of the day, but starting to catch up with me again. But I already know. Like I don't have bedtime tonight. It's Friday, right? But I already know if I try to go to sleep after the stream, I'm probably just gonna lay there. If it keeps up, I'm gonna have to talk to my doc. Yeah, if it keeps up, I'll have to talk to my doctor about insomnia or something. It's only been like the past 2 days. All right, we are playing Paladin, Firepath Paladin, or Fire Warpath Paladin. Doctor prescribes a 24-hour stream. What are you up to today, Niche? What do you got going on? Just got home, finished dinner as your stream started. About to get my farm on, right on.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
My garage. How's it going, brother? Yeah, doing pretty good, man. How about yourself, Reef? What you got going on tonight? You going clubbing? Bar hopping? No. I got it. You're going to the hookah lounge, the one where they allow dabs. Doing well, just playing some PoE too. Okay. I'll dab to that. Hey, what up, Rebel Power? Welcome back. Oh, self-destruct. I'm like, what killed me? Oh, right. Almost confused. Do you use EOS webcam utility? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, I'm using my my Canon 6D. Yours got stuck with a white screen? Wow. Yeah, I've never had that issue. You try reinstalling it? Do you think it's camera based? All good here. 12-hour shifts in the pizzeria. Oh, yeah, that's a long time. And then your Streamlabs freezes up when you change camera settings. Yeah, I've never encountered that. Yeah, I got a case of the yawns, chat. Well, today is the start of my 2 weeks off from work. Today, well, it started after I clocked out today. I went to work today. Wife and I got some plans. I'll still be streaming. No worries. So today was just a lot of, you know, making sure my guys that they know what's going on, and then, you know, I wanted to clean up the kitchen, scrub down the stove, scrub down the oven. Want to leave them a nice clean area to work. Though next week's gonna be dead at the center. Like, if we have more than 50 kids, I'll be shocked. Especially on Monday, you know, because President Biden gave all federal employees Tuesday off for Christmas Eve. Signed an order. So, considering that we mostly serve a lot of federal, Army, civilian, just federal level employees and service members, they're probably going to get their Christmas started early on Monday. Probably not going to be a lot of people dropping their kids off at the center. Another one. And DJ Khaled. Another one. Oh, I got some coffee right here. It'll all be good. It'll be fine. All right. Let's look up a few things. What do I have for Rive? +1 derive. +3 derive. Okay. Got the idols. Oh, that'll be nice. Oh, Nikes. Hey, what up, Afia? Edgin Gaming. Hi, I was thinking of grabbing the game while it's on sale. Are people still playing a decent amount? Yeah, I know, right? Right, Niche? I'm going to say right now... Let's look up the game's exclusively on Steam, so let's look up Steam charts. I'm gonna say not a huge amount right now, because Path of Exile 2 entered early access not too long ago. Okay, so right now, Last Epoch had a 24-hour peak of 1,879 players. It maintains an average of a few thousand players. Scary Man 355, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Lots of new people are showing up, to be honest. Yeah, lots of new people, or a lot of people are coming back. It's not really reflected in the Steam charts that well, but I feel like there's still there's still people like me who enjoy playing the game a ton. I think what's going to be happening, though, is there's supposed to be a very large and substantial update to the game in April of 2025. Now, I don't know if the game's going to go on sale at any point, but there's still a lot to do in the game, especially if you're brand new. It sounds like you are because you're considering buying the game. Do I think it's worth it? 100%. $35 or $40 gets you in. You get all the updates for free. I don't think they're going to be charging for seasons. There's no like battle passes or anything. All the stash tabs in game are purchased with in-game currency. You can have like 200 of them. It's wild. They do have microtransactions in the form of cosmetics only. And there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of class diversity. There's a good amount of gear diversity. Of course, once you start pushing difficulty and everything, it starts narrowing, just like any ARPG. Yeah, I think, like, obviously, I got a bias. I'm going to tell you, yes, get the game. But, yeah, I think it's always a good time. There'll definitely be more people in April. You just don't care for the classes that are in the game right now. Yeah, and you're probably alluding to this without directly saying it. The game's still in early access. They got more coming. They got more coming. I've been checking out Path of Exile once per week, and then I keep streaming Last Epoch. When messing around with the mage's skill tree, apparently the node after cryos indeed increased damage, so traded it for extra cast speed. Okay. Well, for that Rive build I was thinking about doing, this looks like it kind of fits the bill. I mean, look at all that armor. That's a sealed T4. We're not gonna get a lot of extra health out of it though. I'm okay with that. Edgin Gaming, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I pretty much just stream last Epoch primarily. Hey, what up, Maple Tuna? How's it going, man? Welcome back, brother. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid chess piece. Well, let's see. Do I have anything else in the Rive department? We're not swapping builds today, but I kind of have an idea for a Rive build. Do you have to buy stash tabs? Okay, so Chris, yes, you have to buy stash tabs. You buy stash with in-game currency. You do not buy stash tabs with any like premium currency or anything. You buy it with gold, which is what you earn in game just by playing the game. You can't, drop $100 down and buy a bunch of stash tabs. There's no premium currency in the game. Well, that's a little bit of a lie. So here, let me show you. There is a premium currency. It's Epoch points. And Epoch points can only buy you in-game cosmetics. This is the only... See, this costs 150 Epoch points. That is the only form of microtransactions in the game. You cannot pay to progress. You cannot pay for an advantage or boosters or anything like that. Oh, this is new? Well, I mean, new to me. I don't know when it got added. There's also like supporter packs. As you can tell, I've purchased a few of them. You'll get these cosmetics right here, along with some Epoch points. But yeah, that's the only in-game currency. Well, that's the only in-game premium currency is Epoch points, which buy cosmetics. What quality of life does this game have that the others don't? You might have to narrow that down for me. Actually, yeah, I could show you one right now. So, Path of Exile 1 respecking is pretty difficult. Path of Exile 2, they have respecking. Oh. Is it only 100 stash tabs now, Afia? I thought you can have 200. Yeah, 200 stash tabs. You purchase them all with in-game currency. You can completely customize your stash tabs, right? So here's this one. I have a category called random stuff with stash tab number 3. Oh, actually, hold up. Let me go to legacy. I can't edit that one. That's from a previous season. Okay. So random stuff, stash tab number 3. Let's rename this to SN, SZ, and Chris, right? You seem like I don't know, like you might be into fire, so let's give this stash tab right here a little fire icon. Let's make it orange. Orange is pretty cool. Let's go to tab priority. What do I want in the stash tab, right? Because you can customize what each stash tab holds. I want to put two-handed weapons, but hey, I could even narrow it down to just two-handed axes. I want it to only hold two-handed axes of the Jade Cleaver variety that is rare, exalted, unique, with a class requirement of Sentinel. There's 5 classes. And I want it to have a level requirement of 1 to 75. Circle of Fortune faction requirement done. I have now completely customized this one stash tab to hold those particular items. You can respec in-game. Costs do not increase, and respecking is pretty fast. So here's the Sentinel tree. You got the three masteries. I can respec all right now if I wanted, and the cost does not go up. It is always a flat 60,000 gold. Just hit respec all, respecs all the nodes, and it's pretty quick to just shift builds this way. Because like Diablo, sure, you can respec all, but then you have the huge Paragon board. Path of Exile 2, I haven't played it a ton. I haven't had to respec in there. Yeah, 60k gold is nothing, by the way. Yeah. Path of Exile 2, I haven't had to respec in there. The costs were pretty extreme when I was playing, but I've been told that they've been halved. So that's a possibility. But I'd say trade is not inherent in the game. There is trade in the game, but it works like Diablo 3. There's factions. There's a trade faction with an in-game auction house that you can trade items that way, but there's also like you can roll as a group, and if an item drops, you can trade it with the people who are standing right there. They had to be there when it dropped. Or you go through the in-game trading auction house. That's its own faction. It's the same low level, but half to high levels for PoE 2. Okay, thank you, Edgin. I don't want to be spreading misinformation. I'd say here is probably the biggest quality of life. No, Niche, this one's bigger than Circle of Fortune. Is the in-game loot filter. Now, I know Path of Exile has a loot filter. I don't know how good Path of Exile 2's loot filter is, but here's one thing I know about it. You can't do any of it in-game. You can completely customize everything down to the letter. You can customize everything down to the letter in-game, and you can even export your loot filter, upload it to a site like Pastebin or email, and give it to a friend. Share it with a whole bunch of other people. They can plug in your loot filter. The loot filter is best in class in my opinion. Yeah. So here, let's show an example. All right, let's show an example of the loot filter in action. Of course, now nothing's dropping on the ground. Okay. Okay, so look right here. Right, exactly. So look right here. You see these little blue dots, right, Edgin? But nothing's appearing. Not like this, right? And this is customized too for the loot filter. But let's disable it. There's actually a bunch more items on the ground, but this is garbage for me, right? I use the loot filter to remove it. LE has the best loot filter, but other games have filters. No other game has Circle of Fortune. Man, you're married to that Circle of Fortune. Yeah, so Last Epoch has 2 factions in the game right now for items, so to speak. You have a trade faction, and then you have kind of like a solo faction. It's not specifically like if you select this, you play solo, you can't play with other people, but the solo faction, so to speak, gives you better drop rates. You can do like missions to help find loot. And that's where, like, especially if you're playing Circle of Fortune, having an idea how the loot filter works helps a lot, because this game has a ton of loot, and you use the loot filter to really just kind of filter out a lot of stuff. A lot of other games, if you don't trade, you're punished. Mostly PoE. I feel like Diablo's kind of there too as well, Afia. Like when I was playing, I'm not really big on trade, and I had people in my chat who would wait, is it now? Yeah, dude. I had people in my chat who had got so much further ahead than me because they'd be going to these third-party sites, which are all in-game legal. Like, let's be fair, and be making these trades and then just making gold hand over fist, and then they'd be getting their hands on these runes and pieces of gear to be able to, you know, get them further ahead. Whereas I was out here just constantly just farming stuff. Well, trade's been there, but trade's been in the game, but especially with Vessel of Hatred, the runes, the rune words, they had multiple different uses, right? So not only could you slot them into your gear, but if you're trying to craft an Uber unique, you needed specific rune words to craft the exact Uber unique you wanted. And some of those were hard to find. And so I would just be out there farming them, like trying to find the ones I needed. And then one time somebody was like, yo, I'll hook you up. What do you need? I'm like, I need these rune words. He's like, okay, bet. Give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, he's like, okay, send me an invite. And so I sent him an invite, and then he just traded me all these rune words. I'm like, where'd you get all these? He's like, oh, I went and bought them on the marketplace. I went to a third-party website and found them. And of course, he gave it to me, you know, streamer privilege, I guess, if you wanted to say. But it was just like, oh, thanks. Now I can craft the Uber unique that I wanted because the boss wasn't dropping it. To be sad, it's to be honest, it's sad to see Path of Exile didn't do anything like Circle of Fortune. I mean, I'm always like, I don't like stopping the game to like go do trade. I don't even like stopping the game to go do, you know, prophecies. I just like playing and then logging off for the night, right? But I can see it being a bit of a balancing. I'm not gonna say nightmare, but like, remember when the whole gold duping thing happened and it completely messed up the trade market? And it was one of the reasons why they said they reset the season, was because of the gold dupe that absolutely bricked one faction. Well, it didn't brick it, but it messed it up pretty bad. So you had a whole bunch of people in the Circle of Fortune faction who, I mean, to be honest, they could just play in Legacy, but if they wanted to play and compete on the arena leaderboards, they kind of had to start all over again because one faction got messed up by gold duping. And there might be some people out there who don't want to deal with it. I'm glad Last Epoch wants to deal with it because I like just having better inherent drop rates and rarity bonuses baked in so I can just keep blasting. That was one thing I didn't like about like when I went and played Merchant's Guild. Like, I would find stuff and then it'd be like, okay, I'd save up a couple items, stop, go sell, get back. I mean, that's a personal thing. It's sad Path of Exile did nothing in terms of quality of life. What would you say quality of life is relative, Afia? To you, what is quality of life? Yeah, that's another thing. You're not really looking for your loot. You're looking for the best loot in the game to trade with other people. Yeah. Inventory management, loot filter management, things like that. Okay. That's fair. Yeah, and don't get you wrong. You like Path of Exile too. It's just there's certain things missing from it that you can get in Last Epoch. Yeah, they need to pay attention to the meta builds or have access to some loot filter. That's true. When I was playing Merchant's Guild, people were trying to share with me a loot filter I think Gringo made. Because he had like all the meta builds going on. But you know what? I'll also say it was really annoying playing a meta build in Merchant's Guild because everybody wanted a premium for those items, you know? Like, oh, this is a meta build. I'm going to just tack on an extra 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 gold, a million, just because, you know, this is a build that's popular. And I found myself more often than not just kind of settling. Like, okay, well, the item I really need, they're asking for 5 million gold. I guess I'll just settle for this half-baked item right here. And, of course, never find anything like it on my own. Yeah, I was shocked when I was playing Path of Exile 2 and I was like, oh, there's a loot filter. And then somebody's like, you have to make it off-site. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you make it off-site and you load it into the game. I'm like, Because the only loot filter I've ever used is last Epoch. I'm like, wait, what? I gotta make it off-site? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I can't do it in-game? And they're like, nah. Unless the people I was talking to were mistaken. I was flabbergasted. Technically, you can write your own on Notepad. Well, you could technically write your own loot filter for last Epoch on Notepad, right? Or is it like a very specific? No. You can upload, yeah. Because I'm like, wait, you can upload it to Pastebin. They don't do HTML. They might do HTML on Pastebin, but there's a specific website people use. I mean, that's fine. You know, that's cool, but not everybody's gonna. I doubt everybody's gonna be aware of that. I mean, I obviously wasn't. I saw loot filter and there was like, there's no options. Our in-game boss mechanics. I guess you could technically say the guy I'm fighting right now is an in-game boss. There's a mechanic called Ward, and with the most recent update, which was back in July, hopefully they make that faster. They gave these bosses a ward mechanic. Typically, their attack patterns and stuff like that are highlighted. There's very few, like, cheap shot out of nowhere. I didn't see it coming. It's a lot of, oh, if I stand here, I'm dead type thing. So this boss I fought a number of times. I'm familiar with all his mechanics. He breathes fire. He likes to try and attack you. He's now going to shake his body and create all these little explosion puddles on the ground. Those will hurt you, not necessarily a one-shot. He's breathing his necrotic fire again. And now he's doing his big charge-up attack. If I don't get out of the circle, I'm dead. So here's one thing about last Epoch, at least for right now. Hopefully this changes in the future, but the main in-game loop is echoes, which I guess you can equate roughly to maps or mapping in Path of Exile, right? And it has a specific mechanic called corruption. Corruption is an indicator of the difficulty that you are participating in. And corruption directly ties to 3 numbers on this screen. Let me move my face. All right, let me put myself up there. There's 3 numbers on the screen that are directly tied to corruption. There's the enemies have more health and damage, 432%. In this particular case, at this corruption. I also get a 455% increased item rarity drop rate. Think of this like Magic Find. I also gain more experience, 340%. Along the way, as I'm doing these echoes, I'll gain a random modifier, new enemy modifiers. It'll last for the next 2 echoes. And in this case, enemies are deadly if they have not been damaged recently. As a benefit, because I'm putting up with that modifier, I get 40% increased item rarity and 40% increased experience gained. And the rewards for doing this echo or map will be rare rings as well as timeline stability, which allows me to fight the boss of this timeline. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 timelines, each with their own unique boss. There's also a new to us, he's been in the game for a few months, pinnacle boss called Aberoth. You have to farm specific keys. With these keys, you can challenge him, and he has his own skill set, move set, that sort of thing. He can be difficult depending what build you're playing. There's a new boss type in the game as well called Harbingers. They spawn after you defeat one of these echo bosses that I'm talking about. And there's 2 different kinds. There's a big guy and a skinny lady, so to speak. And they adapt some of the move sets of the echo boss that you just fought and defeated. So they have a little variety in that sense. And they have their own drop tables. They're the ones who can drop a key for you to challenge that boss. Here is the thing, to take it all the way back to what I was saying about corruption. I made a big point about corruption earlier. Corruption is endless. You can push the difficulty of the game to, as far as I'm aware of, infinitude. I don't know if there's ever a stopgap. I don't think anybody's ever gotten there. but it could be a challenge for yourself to keep pushing this corruption number up. These echoes will get harder because remember what I said, this modifier right here, enemies have more health and damage, is directly tied to your corruption number. And so there's you know, kind of lingo in the game is like, oh, I'm playing this build, I'm doing corruption 300. Oh, that's not too bad. How's it do against Aberoth? It does all right, blah, blah, blah. Okay, next build. How's this build do? This build's doing like 900 corruption. Wow, that's amazing. How does it do against like Aberoth and other bosses? Well, it has good wave clear, not the best single target damage clear. Okay, but I can clear maps pretty quick with this build. I can clear echoes pretty quick with this build, right? Yeah, so this is a good farming build. I'll just customize a loot filter. I'll get this build set up, but then I'll customize a loot filter for a different build and use that build that you're using right now to do higher corruption to farm loot for another build that I might want to do against these single target bosses and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. That's something that interested me in the game. So I took a build, Bleed Hammers. It's a well-established build, and I tuned it to my liking. And I actually pushed that build past 1,000 corruption. I don't really do that, but this one I knew it could do it. And to me, that was pretty good. Now, there's other people out there with some of their builds that have been doing very well. They're doing like 2,000, 3,000 corruption. That's insane amounts of corruption. Because this damage number right here, health and damage, that's very high. Very high. So you can kind of have the build, you can kind of push the build to where it meets corruption. There's also, if you're interested in competitiveness, so to speak, more is a multiplier, by the way, for sure. So if you're interested in competitiveness, there is an activity in the game called the Arena. You survive waves of enemies. And if you can survive enough waves of enemies, you can get your name on the leaderboard. That's the main reason why you'd want to be playing in season, in cycle, right? So you can compete on the leaderboard. This guy, number one in this cycle, cleared 1,625 waves. That or racing an early cycle. That is true. What Afia is getting at, Edgin, is there is a level leaderboard showing the first one to hit level 100 for normal softcore. Box Bird Bleed hit level 100 before everybody else. And that's now permanently locked in there. And he was playing, it looks like a Falconer. But they also have, you know, a Primalist leaderboard, a Mage leaderboard, a Sentinel leaderboard. This was the overall leaderboard, right? So it took everybody, put them all right here. There's a lot of Falconers. And it looks like everybody got onto this leaderboard between September 20th through September 22nd, because that's when they... And this is what Afia is getting at as well. There is a hardcore leaderboard. It tracks people who... oh my gosh! You right now could still get onto the hardcore leaderboard? Look, because they track the top 50. Look at this. Yeah, with the event, it was that's a whole other subject, Edgin. There was an event that kicked off the start of this cycle reset. There is still people getting onto the hardcore first to level 100. I can't believe it. Let's check out Sentinel. Oh my gosh. Get that number 50 hardcore. Yeah, that's gotta have to be a FIA. I don't play hardcore. You were 7th when you died. That is wild. Was early in the league. So you're not Micro Nico? Level 82. Or whatever it was. Yeah. Puck Sork 2. Alright, let me put my face over here. Let me reopen the chat windows that got closed. Alright, I'm going to get back to blasting. So yeah, Edgin, they're going to be releasing more content in April, and it's supposed to be substantive. And hopefully at that point, they're a small team, right? Hopefully at that point they can find a good rhythm to be releasing new seasons and cycles and new seasons with a good cadence. They've been a little uneven, so to speak. The game launched in February of 2024, and they've, if you want to count that as a season 0, that lasted 5 months. And then their next season, season 1, if you will, started in July. That went all the way to September, where they did a reset. They reset the season because they knew they weren't going to be able to release a new content, a new season for a while. And it's been pushed back. Now we know it's coming out in April. So they've had 2 seasons for more than a year. 3 if you want to count the reset, but the reset didn't really change much of anything. They just reset the season. Hopefully, every 5 months they can bring a new season with new content, new items, that sort of thing. But supposedly in April, we're going to be getting a large, beefy update. Show the in-game guide. There's an in-game guide. You want to learn about anything in the game, you press G on your keyboard and you look it up. I want to know about Weaver's Will items. Weaver's Will is a special mechanic on certain unique items representing the amount of total affix tiers. Legendary items. A legendary item is a composite item made up of a unique and exalted item. Affix shards. Shards can be used to add new affixes to items via the crafting menu. So here you can craft items in the forge. I'm not going to do a full breakdown right here, but you can really customize items pretty well. There's a little bit of RNG here, but you have a certain amount of control. I just want to kill some stuff, so I'm going to go blast. I hope that helped, Edgin. It does a lot, actually. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I said that right off the get-go. I'm like, I'm biased, buy it. The end. But I do think it's worth... Like, even if this game doesn't receive any more content updates, right? Like, real talk. Even if this game, they announced today, hey guys, we're going to keep the servers up, but we just can no longer update the game. I still think it's worth the price tag. Because there's still a lot of meat to chew through. Now, obviously, they're not. They're still releasing content. It's just a little bit slower than I would like. Nonetheless, I still think it's worth the price tag no matter what time you get into the game. Because Yuri Life, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Okay, one more case. Oh, I didn't even go over this. Okay, Edgin, if you're still there, it's currently $28. Edgin, if you're still there, the build diversity in the game, you know, not to mention the crafting and all the items. If you like charms from Diablo 2, there's a whole idols slot. I should just send you the video I made saying should you buy last Epoch, but so there's 5 classes in the game. Each class has 3 masteries. Each mastery is distinct but similar. You get access to these skills, right? This is your base class skill set, and then each mastery has their own special skills with some keystone abilities, right? I'm playing Paladin. I get the keystone ability of Holy Aura. Here's the best part of this whole system. You get 5 skills that you can master into, right? And under each skill that you click on, that you master into or specialize into, it has its own skill tree. All right, you following me, Edgin? Don't tell me there's an ad playing right now. Is Edgin missing all of this? Well, technically there's no ads playing. So each skill has its own skill tree that you can completely customize to your build. Please tell me you heard all of that, Edgin. Yeah, I was watching somebody earlier today on Twitch, and it felt like every 10-15 minutes I was getting a 3-minute ad. And I know this guy. Okay. So each skill has its own skill tree, and you can completely customize it, and the skill can completely change. I'm playing Warpath. Warpath is like Whirlwind from Diablo. Spin to win, right? But I've edited it to do fire damage. I am now having it cast Smite for me automatically. I made it stronger by 40% as a more multiplier, and while dual wielding, this becomes an 80% damage increase as a more multiplier. I've added Cyclone of War, which means if I'm using a sword, I gain more critical strike chance. And if I'm using a scepter, a mace, or an axe, I gain these benefits. I'm using a sword and a scepter because this is fire. So I get increased fire penetration and critical strike chance while using a sword and a scepter. And I'm using both. So I get both those benefits. But let's say I wanted Warpath to be more of a void damage type. I can go up this side of the tree and completely transform it into void damage. I can do more damage to enemies that are affected by an ailment called Time Rot. I can even go down this side of the tree. And as Sophia said, everything that I'm talking about is explained in-game in the in-game guide. So with this build, I'm casting Smite. Smite can do damage on its own, but I'm using it as a passive buff, right? If Smite hits an enemy, get these buffs. I'm using Sigils of Hope, which is a passive buff, right? Using Holy Aura, which is a passive buff. And I'm using Volatile Reversal, which I have to activate it, but it's damn near passive. And I completely customize these skills to suit my build with these items, with these idols, with these blessings. All right, I'm killing stuff again. There we go, Edkin. You know what? I'm going to do it. Hey, what up, YouTube? How's it going? Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. Should you buy Last Epoch? I made a video on this before Factions came out. So before 1.0. But the core tenets of the game are still there. Get shareable link. Should you buy Last Epoch? And of course, it's only 8 minutes long because I had a better sales pitch before. I lightly touch on everything. So if you want to check that out, you can. I mean, obviously, I just spent the last 30 minutes explaining all of that. I need to just make that a bot command. Maybe I'll update the video. A rehearse sales. So actually what that was a that was actually a live sales pitch, and I clipped it out and made it a YouTube video. Somebody came in asking about should I buy the game because the game was about to come out. Maybe I'll actually make a rehearse sales pitch. No, honestly, I should, because, you know, a lot of people are going to be curious about it with that April update on the horizon. Like, I played it back in 1.0. I haven't touched the game since. Is it worth coming back to? Well, let me show you everything that's in the game. Because some people played it for a little bit, and the server issues when it hit 1.0, they just left. So they didn't even really play the game a whole lot. They checked it out for a little bit, couldn't really play it. And then just was like, I'll come back later. I already got it. Should you buy Last Epoch in 2025? What up, Felita B fans over on Kick? Hello, friend. Your stream it so very well. That's why I followed you. Blah, blah, blah. Please join my Discord. Thank you so much for the follow, Felita. I didn't mean to summarize your message quite like that, but thank you for looking out for me and wanting to promote for me. I appreciate it. I'm good. Thank you. Or a bot. Possibly. I had one guy. He was on YouTube. I don't know. This was like a month ago. Tried to tell me he was Dr. Lupo's brother. And he said Dr. Lupo wouldn't publicly acknowledge him, but if I joined his Discord, I could actually talk with him and Dr. Lupo, where Dr. Lupo would acknowledge that he was his brother. And so I was like, yeah, that's nice. That's cool. And then I banned him. Anyway, I then later went and looked at his profile, and it's YouTube ratted him out. Apparently, he was from Nigeria. I guess Dr. Lupo's got a brother in Nigeria who he won't publicly acknowledge him, but you know, if I joined his Discord, he would be like, "I'm Dr. Lupo." He was a Nigerian prince. Yeah. Apparently, Dr. Lupo comes from Nigerian royalty. But he won't publicly acknowledge it unless I join the Discord, at which point I could talk to the real Dr. Lupo. I wonder how Ben's doing these days. I don't need to farm jewelry for gloves. That's going to be interesting. Have fun.
I cannot do that.
Since you're going to be farming jewelry, that makes sense. Slam away, my friend. You were at 150 corruption? Is that your necromancer build you've been working on? Interested to see what I get when I hit level 101. I want to use the restroom. Be right back, chat. And welcome back, Lasty Bear. Glad to be back, my dude. %20 damage. Sure, why not? See if I got a good old-fashioned Leviathan Carver laying around. It's very slow. Instead of volatile reversal, I will be using healing hands for bleed hammer. Feels much better. Glad you're having a good time, brother. Bleeds already do loads. They do a lot of damage, for sure. Time to try another T7 healing Bastion of Honor. Got a max roll 199%. Best of luck, my friend. Rip? What happened? Didn't even hit the T5 block effect. Oh! I spun into his breath. I thought it was on the outside. I'm starting to look like a scrub. It's alright, already creating the shield. Just gotta find another Bastion. Okay, at least you got that. You mirrored it. It's okay. I missed both death screens. Oh, wait. Whatever. Let's do it. What? Okay, I guess I'm doing something wrong here. Every time it looks like I'm outside of the area. Let's try that again. Okay, you're going down. How do you fare this fine evening? Oh, I'm doing all right, Air Dragon. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a good one. Thank you for the likes on YouTube. Enemies have a chance to dodge, good sir. Dodge. Doge. Later. Doing good. The Christmas crazies came out at work, wrecked my hand playing PoE 2. Oh no. Sorry to hear that, bro. Christmas crazies. That's what we're officially calling them now. Christmas crazies. Hi, how's it going? Yeah, Dad. No. No, whatever. Goodbye. Yeah, the Christmas crazies, normally perfectly fine people, turning into raving maniacs because they have to get it done before the holidays. Don't we all? We all have to get it done before the holidays. Get her done. Is that E2? E2Z Hey Jaka? I butchered that. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Yo, E2. Not to be confused with E40, E2. Well, before I got divorced, I could never get it done. Like major life-changing surgery that you've just on a whim decided to start in December. Do you not know how this works? Oh, that was good. Air Dragon with the gifted sub to Class D. That deserves a sub. Thanks for the gifted sub, Air Dragon. Before I got divorced, I could never get it done before the holidays. Let's try this again. X Fatty, thank you for the follow. X Fatty. Yeah, Air Dragon, thank you very much for taking care of our dude Glassy Bear, man. I had to, dude. I wasn't going to be able to see the screen. I was laughing so hard at that. Oh, oops. Oh. Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Hold up. You guys can't see it, but the window bar pops up on the bottom of the screen and would not go away. So give me a second to relaunch again. Last Epoch. Come on. Pick up the game. There it is. Yeah, they're rare. You just sit on that prophecy for like forever. Oh, nice. Melee damage leeches health. Shred armor. Hybrid health. Excellent. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow with more Path of Exile 2. Not more Path of Exile. With Path of Exile 2. Kind of a weekly series where I dive into the game for an evening, thereabouts, then I get back to Last Epoch. Slowly churning my way through it. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming on Sunday. I got some family coming over. So if not, I hope to see you guys on Monday. And happy holidays if I don't see you guys by then. If you're over here on Twitch, we're going to go ahead and raid Advent Hex. Looks like he is playing Acolyte. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Decent implicit roll. Good night. Good night, you two. Merry Christmas. Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have yourselves a good one. And I'll hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Catch you later. All right, YouTube. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. Thank you so much for the likes. And I hope to see you guys again tomorrow for some Path of Exile 2. Peace out.